this is Ellie from ProLifeForMankind.com. We're talking today about the constellations on the Tomb of Guadalupe. I've shown you how there is a map of constellations on the tomb which reveal the events of the Book of Revelation. One of the first constellations which begins our ascent where east will be at the head. This is also a prophecy that Joseph Torellia gave. He said east will be at the head and west will be at the bottom. He talked about this in one of his prophecies. Well, it's shown on the Tomb of Guadalupe where east is at the head and west is at the bottom. Well, in the western portion sits Orion on the Tomb of Guadalupe. We're going to take a look at that. And NASA now is saying that Orion, one of the stars which are on the constellation Orion, is going to cause a supernova. And they don't know when. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen 100 years from now. We don't know. NASA doesn't know, but the chief director of NASA is warning about Betelgeuse, which is one of the stars which make up the constellation Orion, which is on the Tomb of Guadalupe. I found the years 1903 to 2020. Well, Orion is near where those years are found, 2020. And that's when they discovered Betelgeuse had dimmed. And part of that cooling process caused some dust to accumulate around Betelgeuse. And they're saying now that the star may explode in the future, causing a supernova. So it's really interesting because the constellation is on the tomb. I'm going to show the little video clip about Betelgeuse and what's happening. And then we'll look at the Tomb of Guadalupe, the constellation which is found at the bottom before the 46th star, which represents, I believe, Joe Biden, our president. So here, let's take a look at this video clip on Betelgeuse.
One of the most eagerly anticipated astronomical events is the supernova of Betelgeuse. In the well-known shoulder of Orion, Betelgeuse is a red supergiant star that is nearing the end of its life. Betelgeuse is one of the night sky's brightest stars, but it mysteriously began to wane in the latter part of 2019. One might even see the dimming with unaided eyes because it was so obvious. For several months, the star's brightness diminished and observers questioned whether Betelgeuse had reached the end of its life. After a few months, though, the red giant star's brilliance returned to normal. Astronomers were astounded to discover the cause of the great dimming when they focused some of the most potent telescopes on it. This star is on the verge of exploding as it approaches the conclusion of its existence. When and why is a supernova predicted to occur? And will this situation be disastrous for Earth? Let's find out.
Like I was saying, as we look at the Tomb of Guadalupe, it represents constellations are on there. There are exactly 46 stars on the tomb. They are actually on the tomb, and they represent the events of the Book of Revelation. You can see there at the bottom Orion, which is in the west. Just as Joseph Torellia predicted, the west will be at the bottom. We're heading to where east is at the head. This is what he also predicted would happen in the end times. You can see there the 46 stars. There's only 46 stars on this Tomb of Guadalupe, the Lady of the Americas, which was given to, this tomb was given to Juan Diego in 1531. You can see there the 46th star is our current 46th president because he's the president of the United States, of the Americas. So this is our Lady of the Americas. So the 46th star represents Joe Biden. Then we have the cross, I believe, which represents the illumination of conscience coming. You can see it there. It's the cross of Australia. It represents symbolically our illumination of conscience. Okay, and I also put 2027 there because it represents the coming illumination of conscience, where that cross is a constellation of the Crux, C-R-U-X, the Crux constellation, which is on the Tomb of Guadalupe. We're heading to that red triangle there, which represents the three Islamic Antichrists. We have there Isa, which is represented as Hydra. Then we have the next one, the 12th Imam, which is represented as Ophiuchus, the serpent holder. And then the other side we have Draco, the dragon, which represents the antipope, the false prophet. Now, getting back to Orion, I give you proof. I found the years 1903 to 2020 where Orion sits. Now, they found that this star dimmed in 2019. And they also discovered that in 2020 that this Orion could, one of its stars could explode, Betelgeuse. So there is proof now. You see the 46th star is Joe Biden, and you also see that things are going on with the constellation Orion, which is also on the tilma, showing that we are at the end times now. So I also want to bring to your attention this year, 2066. This is the year I believe Antichrist will make his appearance. He'll have about a 13-year reign. Like Our Lady of Fatima, remember she came every 13th of the month, and Fatima is Islamic. Well, Famat, the name I found on the right hand of Our Lady of Guadalupe, has the number 2066 in it. The F is the 6, then there's a 6 that follows it, and his last letter of his name is the T, which is the 20th letter of the alphabet. So you take the two 6s and the T for 20, and you get 2066. He will have a 13-year reign in 2066, and that'll lead us to 2079. That's what I believe. So there we have it. Orion, one of its stars has dimmed. It could explode, causing a supernova. You see there Orion at the bottom of the tilma, the west. That is proof we're living in the end times. Then we have on the tilma the 46th star, which represents Joe Biden. Then we have the crux for 2027. It's a possible date that I give you for around the time the illumination of conscience will come. It could be earlier than that. It's up to God. But I'm giving you that date because Kim Clement talked about it. And then we have 2066 because that date came from the name of the Antichrist, from Mott. So I'll leave you with this final thought as we look at Orion, what I showed you, how Betelgeuse, one of the stars in Orion, is facing the end of its life. They're saying, NASA's saying it won't pose any danger to the Earth when it causes a supernova and explodes. They don't know when. We don't know that. It could. But we are heading to the end time, and like Betelgeuse, we are also heading to the end of time and the return of Jesus. God bless.